So we'll start in a quadruped position, and we're just gonna find a comfortable position with the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the wrists. So this is your true quadruped. It's easy to kind of shift forward or back, but we want to think of the navel as being the number 5 on the dice here. So if your knees and your hands are number 4, your navel is number 5. So finding that middle point is where we want to be. It also requires you to fire your core on a little more so that we're not dumping in the lower back. That's going to be important as we warm up. We'll get to more stretchy versions of cat-cow in a moment, but let's do our stability cat-cow. So from here, I want you to reach your sternum through your shoulders. So we're not just going to let go and dump into the lower back. I want you to think more, roll the shoulders open, press your sternum through into more of a Pilates swan position. Your abs draw back, your sternum reaches through your shoulders. This is going to feel really opening in the chest and in the upper back and core. So it's a little different from our more stretchy version. Now from here, lift your abs up to the ceiling, heavy your head, and find your cat back. And it's important that you keep your weight in that number 4 position, right? So that our number 5's in the middle. So we really have to fire on that core to lift it up. Come back through, find your flat back, and then roll the shoulders open, find some extension. And then lift. It's almost like a crunch into your cat back. Drop, find your extension. And then lift up. Keep the head nice and heavy. Feel the initiation from your center, not from squeezing the glutes or pressing the hands into the mat. Let's try that one more time. Really try to isolate that core right here. As you scoop, draw the pelvis forward, lift the ribs up to the ceiling. Come back through center. And now from here, flip your grip. So you're going to turn your fingers to face your legs. And this might be enough of a wrist stretch. If not, start to rock a little bit forward and backwards, warming up our forearms, giving our wrists a little love because we will spend a little time on them. Maybe take a couple of circles in both directions. And then bring your hands back to your start position. From here, tuck your toes. You're going to lift your hips, find a down dog. So my feet are about hip width distance apart. You can always take this stance wider if that's more comfortable and suitable for you today. What's most important is that you're pressing down into all the points of your hands and you're thinking long diagonal spine. Your sternum is reaching towards your thighs. From here, you can pedal out the legs. You can lift both up and down. Just find what works for you, keeping it breathy. We're still warming up. Let's do a little front support variation here. Finding your standard down dog here. You're going to lift your heels up. And then kind of like what we did in our cat back, you're going to round through your spine, come all the way through a plank, and then lower your hips down into an upward facing dog. Option to keep the knees lifted, or you can lower them down. We're going to hang out here for a second. Keep the collarbones wide. Maybe you look side to side to get a little stretch in the side body. And then from here, we lift the knees if they're lowered, chin towards your chest, lift your abs up to the ceiling, round your spine, undulate back to your down dog. We're going to take that 2 more times. Lift the heels, round through, lower down into your up dog. What's up, dog? Every time I think of that, I think of what we do in the shadows. And then let's undulate back. 1 more time. Lift the heels. Feel nice and flowy here. Lowering down. Maybe we gaze side to side. Gaze up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the floor away. Back to your down dog. Now we add on. You're going to lift the heels, come through to your down dog. Through to your up dog. Lift back up to down dog and walk your hands back to meet your feet. Hang out in this forward fold for a moment. Maybe you cross and grab onto opposite elbows, rock side to side. And then release, walk back out, find your down dog. Now we do the reverse. Start the same, lift, roll through, up dog, and then back to down dog. This time the feet walk to the hands. Little steps. How close can you get your feet to your hands? And then find a forward fold. If you don't get there, that's fine. Just find your way to a forward fold, wherever that is. And then walk back. We'll do one more for each. Rolling through into our upward facing dog. Taking whatever you want along the way. Returning to our down dog. Walking the hands back to meet the feet. Hanging out in our forward fold. You can bend one knee, then the other. We're warming up. Figuring out what's going on with the body today. Stretching can be real finicky. I have days where I feel super bendy, and then days where it's like I've never stretched in my life. So meet your body where it's at today. Walk yourself out into your down dog, and last time here we roll through to our up dog. Woo! Back to down dog. Last time, feet to hands. Lift your abs to create space for your legs to move. Walk forward, and let's land at the front of our mat here. Extended forward fold. So if you can't touch the floor, that's fine. If you're up here, here, what's most important is that you have a soft bend in your knees so that we're not locking out in the knee joint. Your hips are over your knees. And to deepen this, just bring more of the weight forward into the balls of your feet. So we don't want to be back on the heels. Draw your weight more forward. So those hips are over those knees, more weight is in the balls of your feet. Keep your head heavy. That's really important. We're trying to release the upper body here and stretch the hamstrings. We don't want to add tension. This is not the point of this class. Now from here, we're going to take a little hamstring warm-up. Bend your knees. Try and get your chest onto your thighs. And then lift. Try and keep your chest towards your thighs. Bend and straighten. If you want, you can separate your legs wider if that feels better. Let's take 3 more. 2 more. On your last one, take a bend and slowly roll up to toe, bone by bone. Head is the last thing to come up. Take an inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And then on your exhale, lift your chest to the sky, draw your pelvis forward, take a little back bend. So pelvis thrusts forward, chest reaches up to the ceiling. And then come back through center. Take another inhale, nice long yawning stretch, and then forward fold. From here, walk your feet back out into a plank position. We're just going to hold this plank for a few moments here. Final warm up. Rocking back and forth, checking in with the shoulders, checking in with the neck. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. We're going to open the knees wide, big toes together. Press back into a child's pose. Reaching the arms long in front of you, forehead towards the mat. couple breaths here. Let's add on a little tricep stretch. You're going to bend your elbows. Hands either come palms together, or you can place them behind your head like so. So either fingers to the ceiling or hands down your neck. Walk your elbows in closer to your head, if you can, and you'll get a nice stretch through your triceps. Reach your arms long. Lift up a little bit higher. Take a little thread the needle here. Lift your left arm up to the ceiling and then bring it underneath to come down on your shoulder. You can keep your right arm long, or you can add a bind by bringing your hand behind you, reaching for your hip. Roll that shoulder open and find a big opening. Big stretch through the deltoid on the left side and a bit of a stretch in the right shoulder. Releasing that. Coming back to your start position, we'll thread the needle on the other side. The right arm lifts and then scoop it under twist. Same thing here. You can take that bind if you'd like. And just let it feel good. Release your bind. Release your needle. Dethread your needle, the correct term, and then walk yourself back. Let's do a quick stretch for the feet. This is a full body stretch. Bring your knees together. Tops of the feet are long onto the mat. You're going to sit on your heels. Maybe your booty won't reach your heels. Totally valid. When I first did this, I couldn't get my booty down on my heels. I was more heel. So if you need to, shift your weight a little forward. Use your arms as an assist to help you. You can also sit on a block to help start stretching the tops of your feet. Our feet do a lot for us. We have to give them some love. Now here's the more difficult one. You're going to shift your weight forward, tuck your toes, and then sit as far back as you can until you feel a stretch through the arches of your feet. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you sit up onto your heels. Get a nice stretch through the toes, nice stretch through a bit of the Achilles into the arch. We won't be here long because this is a sensitive area, but an important area to stretch nonetheless. Lower down, tap your feet out, shake them loose, and then come to sit, facing the long way on your mat. And we're going to open our legs to a comfortable width apart. Do a little hip opener. Hands are going to come behind you to help stay lifted. I know it's a very flattering position, but whatever. I've been teaching online for so long. I've been in a lot of crazy positions. Everyone's seen my apartment and everyone has seen me upside down doing crazy things. So this is nothing. So what we're going to do, we're going to lower our legs to the right. And you want to keep your legs at a 90-90 position. So L shape with both legs. Try and get those knees down towards the floor and keep your chest twisted, squared to the front. You'll get a little opening in the hip and we'll start to lube up the hip socket here. Come back through center and we're going to lower 90-90 to the other side. Come back through center and now we'll flow a little bit. Lower down. And lift up and change. This is a great one to warm up the hips. It's a great one to do in the morning or in the evening. Any time of the day, really. If you're feeling a little tight in the middle of your work day and you're able to find a place on the floor, great for that too. It's always appropriate to do these. They're so good. They feel really good too. Bring your legs back over to the right, and now we'll get a little glute stretch. Keeping your legs at 90-90, square your chest towards your right leg. And from here, maybe you get a lot of stretch here, but if you want to, you can start to work your forearms down to your mat. Maybe your chest even touches your leg. And start to find where you need some release. So for me, I almost need to take a bit of a twist towards my knee to get a little more of a stretch. Maybe for you, it's straight forward and arms forward. Maybe you have to twist more towards your foot to get the stretch that you need. Play around in this position. Gently play. And we're going to hang out here for a little bit longer to relish in that opening. It's important to hold your stretches for at least 30 seconds to get the full benefit of them. From here, walk yourself up to your more upright position, and then we'll swing to the other side. Same thing, bow forward. Maybe there's a twist towards the knee, a twist away from the knee. Everyone's going to be a little different here. This is a good release in the glutes and will help open the hips. Especially when we start doing lunges and getting more deep into stretching, the glutes can be a big inhibitor. So we want to gently warm them up and give them a little love so that they don't get in our way later. Couple more breaths here. I could take a nap in this position. And then come all the way up, back through center. From here, we're just going to square off to the short edge of our mat now. Straighten your legs long. Zip them together. Starting with the little seated forward fold. Option here, if you cannot sit straight and you're kind of dumping into your back here, slouching, take a little bend at the knees. I'd rather you have a little bend at the knees and your spine is nice and long and tall than your legs are straight and we're slouching, because this is also not good either. We don't want to train our bodies to be more like this. We want to train them to be like this. So bring your arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. On your exhale, round your spine and reach for your toes. Maybe you're grabbing your calves. Maybe it's your ankles. Maybe it's your toes. Either way, drop your head, lift your abs up towards your spine, and forward fold towards your legs. So we're thinking forehead towards the knees. And a little bend in your knees actually feels great, whether you can get your legs straight or not. You get a little more stretch in your lower back when the knees are bent. That's my favorite variation of this seated forward fold. It's taking more of a deeper bend of the knees, really releasing the head and just getting that big stretch down my back. From here, release, stack your spine all the way up to tall. And then from here, we're going to take a flat back variation. Different sensation for the stretch. You're going to reach your arms up to the ceiling, take an inhale. Exhale, this time flat back, hinge at the hips over. So maybe you reach the toes, maybe you grab the thighs, calf, or ankle. It's more important that your booty kind of reaches back and your sternum reaches forward. So you're in a more long diagonal spine position. It's good to train both methods of the seated forward fold, because you're going to get slightly different areas of your back, slightly different areas of your hamstrings. And some people might feel this more in the hamstrings. You might feel it more in the lower back. You're still stretching. And it's good to throw your body different types of things. Keeping it diverse allows your body to be more adaptable. Stack yourself all the way up to tall. And now we're going to take it down to the mat. Reach your arms long, take an inhale. Exhale, slowly roll down to the mat with grace and beauty. Or not. Most of the time it's not for me. We're going to bring that right knee into our chest. And to start, just bring your right hand to the top of your knee, your left hand to your hip bone, and just circle the knee joint. A little stir in the hip. This is a great one for the morning. When you wake up and you haven't had coffee yet and you can barely function. Take it back around to the other side. Got to make sure you do both directions. From here, both hands come under center front of the thigh. And just hold here. You can pull that knee in towards your chest. And I don't want you to just think about the leg that's closer to you. I want you to be mindful of that leg that's long on the mat, the left leg. We don't want to forget about her. It's easy to kind of forget about her and she flops and she turns out and bends and gets all funky. This is a full body stretch, so we want to be mindful of the other leg as much as the one that we're more focused on. So reach your left leg long, have a little flex in your foot, and make sure that that knee stays pointed to the ceiling. That's going to put your hips in the right square position, and you're going to be able to build flexibility from here because you have nice technique. From here, point your right toe. You're going to lift the leg to the ceiling, and then bend, bring it back in. Straighten, and bend. Now your leg might not go all the way straight. That's okay. As straight as it'll go. And shaking is okay. If you get right up at the top and you feel a little quiver in the hamstring, totally normal. We just don't want pain. This last time you're going to straighten and hold. From here, hands can stay behind the thigh. Maybe you can walk them up towards your calf. Maybe to the ankle. You know where your edge is when your shoulders start to feel like they're going to lift off. So for me, it's up here. Because what we don't want is to shrug the shoulders and lift them up off the mat. Because that's not good technique. So find a point where you have a stretch, but your shoulders can stay down. And then pull the leg towards you. Trying to keep the hip bones square to the ceiling. Let's make this a little more dynamic. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head up, reach your forehead towards your knee. And then lower down, inhale. Exhale, lift up, forehead to knee. And lower. 2 more times. And lower. Last time. Lower. From here, release your hands. Bring your arms long down by your side. I've got one Pilates move in here. We're going to take a little single leg circle. You're going to reach your leg across your body. Maybe the hip lifts. Maybe you want to keep them down. Lifting the hip, you get just a little more of a twisty stretch through the body. So you've got options here. Take the leg down and around and circle it back up. Take it across, relish in that twist, bring it around, and lift it up. One more time, and then we reverse. Normally, I don't want the hips to lift, but for today, it's more about exploring our range of motion and thinking about the stretchy part of the exercise. Last time. Then bend the knee into your chest. You'll take the leg across your body into your supine twist. If you heard some cracking, that was a satisfying crack in my lower back. Options to deepen this. Leg can stay bent. You can also straighten the leg and take it across your body. I don't have as much space to do that, but the leg can come straight to the ground and you can reach for your toes and find more of a straight leg variation. Or add a quad stretch. Long leg on the mat is going to bend and you reach for that foot. So we're getting a twist and we're getting a quad stretch. Little compound move. Lots of options. And just breathe here. Let your breath help the stretch. Slowly release. Come out of your twist. Give that leg one more pull. And then release it long on the mat. Let's go again. Other side. Left leg bends in. We're going to bring left hand to the top of the knee. Right hand to the bony hip mark. And take a little circle. If you took my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cos Pilates class last week, we swapped out the circles for some squares because we were making cards instead of circles. Very on theme. I have another Cos Pilates coming next week. It's a birthday stream for the Games Hotline, so I hope you can join me then. From here, pull the leg in, being mindful of that long right leg on the mat, so we don't want to flop it around. I don't care if it's bent. If you can't get it straight, keep it bent. As long as it's stable and it's not moving around and not making a decision on where it wants to go. That's the most important thing. You need to be decisive. Leg. So from here, hands come underneath the thigh. You don't talk to your limbs. I talk to my limbs sometimes. Sometimes I feel like it helps. From here, we're going to straighten the leg up to the ceiling and then bend, bring it back in. So as before, the leg doesn't have to go straight. It goes as straight as it can. 2 more times. Last time it stays up to the ceiling. Walk your hands up your leg. Only go as far as you can keep your shoulders square and down on the mat. And we're just going to give it a gentle pull. That could mean bending the elbows. That could just mean holding the shape. And this is my not as flexible side. Micro adjustments as you hold the stretch. So for me, I just kind of straighten my leg a little bit more. I give a little pull as the stretch deepens. So you can make micro adjustments here. Now let's add on. Take an inhale. Exhale, forehead towards knee. And lower down, inhale. Exhale, forehead towards knee. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, forward towards knee. Last time. And lower down. Now from here, release your arms down by your side. We're going to take the leg across the body. Hip lifts or it doesn't, up to you. Take it around and bring it back up. Across, around and up. 3 in each direction. Feeling that stretch and that mobility through the legs, especially in that hip socket and the inner and outer thigh. Finishing up on my second side, you're going to bend the knee in or keep it straight and then take the leg across your body into your supine twist. So same as before, you can take the leg straight if that feels good. You can also take your quad stretch by bending that long leg and either reaching for or grabbing for the foot. And just breathe here. I'm enjoying the silence. As quiet as living in New York City can be. As a motorcycle roars by. I don't know if anyone heard that. Enjoying the silence. Begin to release. Come back through center. Give the leg one more pull. And then reach the legs long down on the mat. Take a long yawning stretch. Normally I tell you to not arch the back like this, but go ahead. It's Stretchy stream. It's not a Pilates class. From here, we're going to move into a letter X stretch. We're really getting floppy on the floor today. So reach your arms out to the corners of your mat, and then reach your legs out so that you look like a letter X. It's not called a letter X stretch for nothing. So from here, you're going to lift up onto your right hip. You're going to take your left arm with you and twist. Now what's the point of this? You want to stack your hips one on top of the other, but begin to square your chest towards the floor. So there's this stretch through your side body as much as a twist. So the shoulders square towards the floor, the hip reaches back. And you can adjust here. I like to come up on the forearms. And then from here, we're going to take it to the other side. So you lift up onto that hip. Think of squaring off the shoulders while you press the hips back. You can walk the arms in. You can keep them stretching long. Each side will feel very different. If they don't, I'm jealous. Because my right and left side are starkly different. It's fascinating. And very inconvenient. All right, come all the way back through center. Take one final floppy starfish stretch. And then zip your legs together, bring your arms up to the ceiling, and just roll up to seated. All right, well, let's come through into our quadruped position. A little more lower body, and then we'll get to more arms and head and neck to finish. So from here, we're in our quadruped position once more. Gonna take that right leg, and you're gonna bring it through into a lunge. I like using the Pilates mat because I don't have to pad my knees. I do use knee pads sometimes when I stretch on a yoga mat because it's not enough squish, kind of hurts my knees. So if you need to put a towel, get a knee pad, take what you need. Everyone's a little different. Sometimes I use a pillow. And we're gonna start by taking our hands to the inside of our right foot. Toes can be tucked, toes can be untucked, whatever you'd like. And I just want you to hang out here for a moment, maybe open the knee. Just kind of gently explore this shape. Kind of see where you're carrying tension. And now we're going to return to stillness. Knee over ankle. Shoulders square towards the front of your mat. And your hip points square to the front of your mat. It's easy to want to open up this back leg. I want you to think hip points forward. And we're just going to hang out here. Maybe as the stretch deepens, you can slowly bring your elbows down to the floor. Take a couple breaths. And then walk your hands up. We're going to bring both hands to our knee. Now from here, I want you to think pelvis down and forward. The upper body stays straight in our lunge. We don't want to be here with the booty back. That's kind of fun, but that's for the club later tonight. We're gonna try and keep our upper body nice and tall, and think of the pelvis going down and almost scooping forward. So squeeze the glute of that back leg, bring that hip more into extension, and you're gonna deepen this lunge. That's gonna be really important if you're interested in doing splits. From here, bring your hands back down to the mat, heel toe that front foot in between your legs, tuck the back toes. Gonna go for a little triangle variation. Keeping the chest glued to your thigh like we did in warm-up. Lift your hips. Find a little triangle, pyramid, whatever you want to call it, whatever fantasy you want. And then bend it back. Find your lunge. The knee can stay lifted. You can lower the knee down. Take whatever you'd like today. Straighten the leg up. Think of reaching the sternum towards the ankle, and then bend down. 2 more times, trying to keep those hips square. This last time, lift up and hold. Square off your hips. Little micro bend in this front knee is important. We don't want to lock out the knee here. And then long spine. Think of lifting, almost lifting your booty up to the ceiling and then reaching your sternum down towards the floor like you're creating a long diagonal line. And then lower back down. You're going to take this back leg, sit on your hip, and look at that, we're in a twist. Come back through, find your quadruped position. We do it all again on the other side. Left leg comes through. Hands are going to come to the inside of your left foot and just gently explore this position. I like to kind of do some external rotation. That feels good for my body. Rock forward and back, kind of see where my hips are today, because our hips are complicated, both anatomically and just in life. I don't know about you, but definitely for me. And now let's return to stillness. You're going to find your lunge here. Same thing as before. You can work down to your forearms, trying to stay square. This is my less flexible side. So for me, to work on getting square, I like to take my right arm out a little wider so that I can more easily square my shoulders off. So I can get more of a stretch in the side and also start to train this other side to go a little deeper. And we're slowly getting there. Takes time. Consistency is key with stretching. Let's come up out of this more lizard-ish pose, as my yogis would call it, and then lift up, find your lunge. You can bring your hand to your hip as a reference here. We want square hips to the front, pelvis down, and pelvis forward, squeezing the glute of the back leg. You do get a lot of stretch in the front leg, but you almost get more in the back leg when you make those little tweaks to your lunge. And as I mentioned before, especially with splits, the front leg is important, but the back leg, I would argue, is even more important to getting that full split all the way down to the floor. That back leg can be the limiting factor. Lower your hands down. bring your foot center. We did a front split stretchy stream, so if that's something you're interested in, that is in the highlights on my channel. It's also on YouTube. I post all these to YouTube, so if you are interested in that, that was a fun one. Really enjoyed that one. Check it out. Tuck your toes. Let's do our little pyramid here. Keeping the chest glued to the thighs, booty up, sternum reaches long. Try and keep those hips square. And then lower down. If you need to bring your stance a little more narrow, totally valid. If you want to widen it, give it a try. It's more important though that your hips stay square and that you feel your spine getting really long. If you feel like you're rounding the spine excessively, you may need to adjust your position. This last time we're going to lift up and hold. Trying to square the hips off, that micro bend in that front knee, and then just reach long and forward. Let the head go. Take the tension out of the front of the throat. And then slowly release down. You're going to slide that back leg in, sit on that hip, bring that left leg over, twistaroo. It's not the name of the exercise, but that's what I call it, the twistaroo. Twisting is my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to do. Stretching in general is my favorite thing to do, but then twisting is the top of the stretching exercises. Just feels so good. All right, come back through center. We're going to face the long part of our mat again. Couple of final things here. We're going to open our legs as wide as they'll go. Same thing, if you need to take a little bend of the knee, that works too. If this is just like you're looking at me going, Sarah, this is not happening. I can't do this. Totally get it. We're going to start on our right side. So you can take what I call the gym class stretch. So just bend one leg in, and then over time, we'll work to having both legs out. So either here, or both legs long. You're going to twist towards your right leg, forward fold over. We're looking for square shoulders to the knee. And if you want a little more stretch in your lower back, that left hand reaches towards your right pinky toe. Drop the head, and you get a little extra stretch through your back. Then from here, your right arm is going to come through, lower your right shoulder towards your right knee, and sweep that top arm over. Maybe you touch the toes, maybe you don't. It's more important that you're square. So thinking that you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. From here, come all the way back up to tall, and we take it to the other side. So either bend that right leg in, or square yourself off to that left side. Either down, forearms down, or reaching for that outside of the left foot. You also get a nice extra stretch through your lat, which feels wonderful. Hitting a lot of different parts of the body today. It is a full body stretch, Sarah. That's true, Sarah. All right, from here, we bring that left shoulder down towards the knee, sweep that top arm over. Feels like a little ballet stretch. Think of trying to sit evenly on both hips. So if you're leaning more towards the left, try and heavy the weight into the right leg. Come all the way up, shake it out, and then let's meet in a cross position. So you can cross your legs, or if you want to take a more of a hip opening variation, we'll start with the right leg. You'll bring your ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Shins will stay aligned to that long edge of your mat. And then you can take a little lean forward, rock side to side, let it go over. It's a good little hip opener. Let's do some arms, starting with our shoulders. We're going to take your arms out to a T. You're going to bring your right arm across your body, take that left arm underneath, hook it, and then pull it. It's going to get a nice stretch through your delt. And something to think about in this stretch, release that shoulder away from the ear. That's going to help deepen your stretch. Don't shrug it towards your ear. Release from here, little forearm stretch. Right arm's going to reach forward. Grab onto your right fingertips. Press them towards your forearm. You might not go super far back. Go where you start to feel sensation, and the longer you hold it, the deeper you'll be able to get into the stretch. This is a great one to do every day, especially if you're typing a lot at the desk. From here, release your forearm. Right arm is going to come up overhead, bend at the elbow. Left arm has two options. You can either hold onto the elbow and push it down to get more of a tricep stretch like this, or same stretch, but if you want to advance it, those fingers reach behind you until you clasp them to get your tricep stretch. So you have two options. This one I'm doing right now is level 2. The first one's level 1. Lift your chin here, because that's also going to bring your arm more into a position to be stretched. Release your arms down. Bring them out to the side, fingertips barely touching the mat. Sweep that top arm overhead. So right arm is going to sweep overhead until you feel a stretch. Another option here, you can bend the arm. Some days I get a deeper stretch with the arm bent. Or straighten. Just keep that shoulder away from the ear. Come all the way up to tall, and we take it to the other side. We start with that delt stretch. Left arm comes across your body. Right arm hooks. Keeping that shoulder away from the ear. And don't forget to breathe. We're breathing. What are your go-to workout songs? I'm a big K-pop fan, so I like my K-pop. But I've also been listening to a lot of podcasts, especially when I lift weights. It's a good distraction. Because I'm not the most motivated to do my single arm rows. Alright, release your delt stretch. Left arm comes forward. Palm faces away from you. Pull your fingers towards you for a little forearm and wrist release. So we're doing a full body routine here. But the nice thing about technology is that you can watch this video, play it back, and then pick and choose what you like and do sections or the whole thing and make it work for you. Fitness should work for you in your life. It doesn't work the other way around. That's what I'm here to help you do. Release your forearm. Left arm comes overhead. Level 1. Right hand comes to the elbow. Level 2. we grab on from the back. And remember to keep that head lifted. So take your chin, lift it up so that it's parallel to the floor. This is my not as stable side. There we go. All right, but I've been practicing it and I've been working on it and I've been deepening the stretch. We are not symmetrical beings. All right, release. Arms come out to the side like a T. You sweep that left arm over, take your little side bend, and then just bend at the elbow if that feels good. Or keep the arm straight, or do a little bit of both. La, 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 la. Come all the way up to tall. And now switch your legs, either the cross or the stack. And we'll end here with a couple of neck stretches. Can't forget about our neck. We spend a lot of time freezing our neck into very specific shapes. So it's really important to be mindful of that throughout the day, right? So if you're feeling like you've been hanging out in a position for too long, use some of these to help loosen yourself up. So the stack of our legs were changed. We're going to start with dropping the chin towards our chest. And I don't want you to force anything here. Just let gravity take your head. That's going to be enough of a stretch. And then lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders down the back, especially as the head travels behind you. Bring your head forward. Just let gravity take it. And then wide collarbones. Lift the chin. Come back through center. We're going to add on to this. Hands are going to stack one on top of the other behind the nape of your neck. Same thing. We're not going to force the head. We're just going to let gravity take everything down. Chin towards chest. Fold the elbows towards your face. And just let that stretch the back of your neck. We're not going to press. We're just letting it go. And then come all the way up, open the elbows, lift the head, find a little extension, maybe a little stretch through your chest. Come back through center one more time. And then lift up, open the elbows, extension. Bring your arms out to your sides, fingers barely touch the mat. Lower your right ear to your right shoulder. And then come back through center, left ear to left shoulder. 2 more times. Keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. 1 more time each way. This time, right ear to right shoulder, hold there. Either hold here, or option 2, you can take that right hand, hold, gently put it on the side of your head, and same thing, just let gravity take it. You're not going to force the head in any position. Option 3, arms stay long. You take little nods of the head up and down. Gently exploring any tight areas. From here, draw your gaze towards your armpit and we'll hold here just for a moment. Get that stretch all the way down your neck. Come back ear to shoulder and all the way up to toe. Take it to the other side. Left ear to left shoulder. From here, one option. Hands ahead. Another option, arms are long, not up and down. You got options. Just be gentle. This feels so good. From here, bring your gaze towards your armpit. Feel that nice stretch down your neck. Left ear to left shoulder. Come all the way up to tall. Final chest opener here. Interlace your hands behind your back. I'll just turn so you can see. Trying to get the palms to touch. Stretch the arms behind you. You can keep the arms low or lift the arms to advance. And then release, shake it out, a couple shoulder rolls. Final movement here. 2 head circles in each direction. Being mindful of where the shoulders are. No shrugging. No tension. 2 big circles in each direction. Come back through center. Draw your shoulders back. And you are all done. Woohoo!